at opportunities. And every disappointment is a blessing in disguise. And what this government has tried to do in difficult circumstances is to ensure that we can sustain the employment numbers which existed at the time of COVID-19. The natural thing for governments to do when your revenues have dropped is to seek to cut expenditure. And the first thing you do when you cut in expenditure, you look at discretionary spending and you look at non-legal obligations. And non-legal obligations would be things like the NEP, things like the allowance for 70 years and older, things like grants and scholarships for students going to universities, things like the homes that we're building or small business support. These are not legal obligations of the state. These are commitments based on philosophical and ideological positions of the government that the government believes, the Labour Party believes, that it has to look after the needs of our people. And we know in this difficult period, majority of people will look to government for that kind of support. And this is why we have maintained the employment levels. Those persons who are in temporary employment, we have kept them. They have gotten their extension letters. We have kept the NEP, which is about $3.7 million each month. And we understand and appreciate the impact of the NEP in the community. When you look at a village of Granby, for example, when you're sending about $120,000 each month to Granby just for the NEP salaries, it's a significant wage bill. You know, there's another constituency where we're sending some $85,000 every month. That's $85,000 every month that has been spent in the shops. The bus drivers get this monies. People are able to pay the light bill, people are able to buy groceries, people are able to pay the water bill. And I see a lot of fancy hairstyles in the villages among the women, you know, and so they're able to have a fancy hairstyle and put a little color in it, a little red or a little blonde in it. I see all kind of fancy colors and so on. And the nails, you know, what do they call it? Acrylic nails, I think they call it, and so on. Even the ladies on NEP, they have gloves because they don't want to mess up their fancy nails that they have in place and so on, which is nice because people have to look good and so forth. And so for many people, it's an important source of income. And we have caregivers who go to the homes of senior citizens, people with disabilities, to provide care and support to these people. So we understand the need for that to sustain it. This is why, notwithstanding the fact that some students are not grateful and they don't show appreciation and even some of them are rude, but I'm not going to change a policy because of one or two rude children. The policy and the intention of the government is far greater and more important than this. We fundamentally believe that we have to educate our people. We have to provide them with a skill, we have to provide them with certification, we have to provide them with knowledge that they can live independent and fulfilling lives. What they do with it is a matter for them and their family. My only caution to them is that having a degree is not your passport to anything in the world. Your attitude your attitude is important. How you interact with people. So the degrees are fine. It's important to have it. It's important to have a qualification. But you must have the attitude, a positive attitude, a respectful attitude. These things are what are going to make you achieve, and you must be diligent, you know, at what you do, and you must be committed to what you do. So let us not use these opportunities to make fun of it or to not take it seriously. We have a caller, please. Hello. Welcome.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Pierre.
Yes.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pierre, I'm calling from Portsmouth.
Mm-hmm. Yes, go ahead.
And I'm calling on behalf of Mr. Tibet or Webster Google. You know, at the Indian River sometime last year.
Yeah.
And he put something in place for him, putting into work. But then it's been over a year now since they started that house and they stopped. You understand?
Yeah.
So I just called to ask you what is the latest vibes on that whole thing.
You said Mr. Foster?
What? Tibet, what's the brother? You know him?
Okay, in Tibet.
You know,
Yeah.
you know Tibet, right?
Of course, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, I definitely know that you did put things in place to do the house for him.
But I will follow up on that.
Together with Rumpel and Foster.
Of course.
But then things are low right now because it's over a year, nothing has been done.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, I will follow up
And
on
the
that.
house is incomplete.
All right, thanks for the information, okay?
Okay then.
Okay, my brother, all the best. Have a good night. Yeah. So we need to work together. And, you know, we have to move away from this persistent and prevalent political acrimonious relationship that exists in Dominica. This is not benefiting anybody. You know, especially in a time of the high incidence of chronic non-communicable diseases, when management of stress is so important. You know, the more you're antagonistic, is the higher stress level is going to be. If you're smiling, you're cool and calm, if you love your neighbor as yourself, and if you can greet people and you can say good morning, good afternoon to everybody who you encounter, and we can see ourselves as brothers and sisters, it's better for all of us. You know? And better for the country. We have to find a way of improving on the relationship which exists between us and among us in our society. Well, as I said some time ago, when it comes to fighting the political battles, let's fight it. But once the battle is over, let us recognize that a truce has to be engendered and leave that truce until the next time that the battle has been declared. So we look forward to this. Last week we had a very positive engagement with the journalists, Mr. Kalai John Baptist and Mr. Curtis Matthew, and we've received lots of commendation for this episode, and I want to thank our guests. And as they've indicated, they would like to come back on a more regular basis, and we'll certainly welcome them on a more regular basis so they can pose the questions of the public to us. I may ask them questions, but I love questions asked of me. Again, we have been operating our back to school program. You know, every child is at school. Let us continue to be vigilant. I want to commend again the Minister for Education and her leadership, and the staff at the Ministry of Education, and the teachers, the parents, and students. Let us continue to work together. I understand that there are some challenges at the Goodwill Secondary School, and I'm hoping I can get a report tomorrow to find out what are the specific challenges and whatever interventions are required of myself. I've been more than prepared to intervene, but I understand that there are some challenges, and I look forward to receiving this report. I know there was a meeting on Friday between the school officials and the Ministry of Education, and I have no doubt the Minister will provide me for a written report tomorrow on this. Let us continue to be constructive, I said. Let us build our country. It's a difficult period, but we cannot be despondent. This is another time for us to be daunted by the stars. Is the government experiencing challenges? Of course, like your families are experiencing challenges. But we have to prioritize. And this is what we're seeking to do. We're prioritizing in terms of our expenditure. As I said last time, we are curtailing discretionary spending. And we continue to see where we can further cut on discretionary spending so that whatever savings we have on discretionary spending can be spent on the productive sectors and to help people address the challenges going forward. So it's been a wonderful discussion tonight. We look forward to engaging us next week. Just to say to you that one of the things that we have to pay attention to is, and I posed a question to our guests earlier tonight, is the cleanliness of our country. You know, for Christ's sake, those of us in the north who are dumping stuff at Point Drunk, please, for the sake of God, stop it. I mean, we can't. How do you take garbage from your home or from your yard or from somewhere else or from another village and just dump it on the side of the road like this indiscriminately. I mean, have we just built this bridge, we keep clearing this place. Now there's a new site that they'll be using just by the bridge, the new bridge that was built. I mean, come on. We were able to address the issue of the garbage build up at on the Grand Savon stretch. I see it's coming back. You know, we have to have pride in ourselves. You know, we are the nature isle. We pride ourselves on being clean and being tidy and beautifying our surroundings. You know, let us all display this. You know, how can you, if you have, there is a dump site in that has been designated by the government. How do you dump this stuff? So let us, when you drive around, let us look at this, and let us admonish those who are doing this, and to draw to their consciousness the need for them to be decent citizens. You know, people who respect the environment and the surroundings and the beautification, the cleanliness. Because when we do these things, now the government has to go and spend monies to clean this, monies that we could spend on your children, on your children's education, monies that we could spend to purchase medicines if our family members are ill, and monies that we should be using to pay for your children's education at universities overseas. So every time we put the government in a difficulty like this, the government is really spending monies that we should be spending otherwise. So let us be mindful of this, on our own responsibility, our own civic responsibility and commitment to our country. This period, this difficult period that the world is confronting, requires us to be exceptionally diligent citizens and residents. You know, what took us one day to do, we must do it in half an hour. And when we come to work, we cannot just come to work, we must know what we're coming to do. And each of us must, at the end of the working day, reflect on what have I achieved. I spent 8 hours in the workplace, what did I achieve? And we have to give our employer the greatest of respect and appreciation. The only way we can give our employer that appreciation, show that appreciation, is by us being diligent. I find there are just too many employees in Dominica who are preoccupied with how much money the boss man making. You know, you do not know your employer's liabilities, how much he has to pay the bank for the loans. There's sometimes that your employer has to go to an overdraft to pay your salaries. There are times that he has to go and withdraw from his personal savings to pay your salaries for the month. So let us not be preoccupied with how much comes in the cash register and then decide, well, I am not going to make Mr. rich on me, and then I am indifferent to my job, and I'm going to go slow, I come late, I run away customers, and so forth. We have to have a different attitude in this period, in this period, and so on, so that we can see this period of together as a nation. We have overcome in the past challenges. They said we had to restructure our economy with this structural adjustment program from 2002 to 2006, 4 years under the IMF. We had to deal with the oil crisis, where the price of oil went as high as $130 or so a barrel, US. We've had to do the financial crisis, which lasted for several years. We overcame those challenges. We had to deal with many natural disasters, from the earthquake in the north to many of the natural disasters, all of which we know of, and all of which we know of the impact it had on the economy and our way of life in Dominica. See where we are today. See where we are today. Many of us felt that we were not going to recover from Hurricane Maria, when we were still recovering from Erica. But see where we are today. And notwithstanding COVID-19, we're not faring too badly. We're not faring too badly. Let us be honest with ourselves. We're not faring too badly. Of course, we're hoping that things will be better. But let us not look at the cup half empty, but look at the cup half full. And we need to give God thanks for his many blessings that he's provided to us. There are countries, as you see, in the management of COVID-19, and there's no criticism of countries. We've seen the economic dislocation, the social dislocation, many countries, but we're not doing too badly. As a country, we've no natural resources, we've limited finances, we are holding our own. And we are holding our own because we are resilient people. We believe that the Lord will provide, and the Lord does not give you more than you can bear. And we live by faith. I am not fearful of tomorrow. I'm not fearful of tomorrow because I manage the affairs of this country by faith. I do pray and I do work because, you cannot just sit and pray alone. You have to work. You have to work. And you have to be diligent. You have to be responsive. You have to be responsible. We cannot come on the job and be on Facebook and skylark all through and expect the salary to come. It's not going to come that way. It's going to come by each of us making a concerted effort to make a sincere contribution to our country's development. We look forward to another week. It's another week that the Lord will give to us, hopefully. But when he gives it to us, we need to make the best use of it as a nation, as a people. So I wish you a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining me for yet another Sunday. Next Sunday, I will invite the Honorable Kozia Frederick and the Honorable Rosalind Paul. So these two distinguished ministers will be with me, and we will speak on a wide range of issues and topics. So I look forward to hosting my two colleagues to the annual Pali program. I want to thank all my supporting crew, people who provide all the necessary support for the hosting of this event, of this program, for their continued diligence and commitment. I know many of them sometimes may have dates on a Sunday, but they have to give it up. You have to go to the river or something and say, well, I have to go and check that thing for Skerrit there. So I can't come. I'm so I'm happy that they make the time. And but as I said, the night is still young. The night is still young. But thank you very much. God bless our country. God bless our efforts. And let us continue to pray that this coronavirus will be banished from every corner of this world. Thank you very much. God bless.
Or a cough coming. Covering your mouth prevents the spread of germs. You probably knew that. But the way you cover up also matters, and that means breaking a habit you've held near and dear all your life. Cover your nose and mouth with your flexed elbow or a tissue, not your hands. Discard the used tissue immediately. Then wash your hands. Help stop the spread of germs. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
A message by the Health Promotion Unit of the Ministry of Health, Wellness and New Health Investment, Dominica.